If you guys know me, you know that how high I was on Tyler Shough. And he got chosen in the second round, and I proceeded to point the finger at laughing at everybody that didn't listen to anything that I was saying. With that being said, I think they look better with Tyler Shough. I don't think this record is an indictment on how good that they can be in the future, but they have some holes in their team that are gonna get exposed this year as well. Can Chris Olave stay healthy? Is Alvin Kamara still going to play at the level that he's been playing? You know, they lost Eric McCoy, their center, to a season-ending injury. How is he going to look this year? Right? They finished 5-12 and only going to improve by one more win. Derek Carr opened up the floodgates and saying that, okay, he retired from football, and Spencer Rattler stepped up immediately in his place to become the starter until they drafted Tyler Shough, who I believe they've already announced that he's going to be the starter until proven otherwise. Can Demario Davis have the last couple of years that he's had? Tyrann Mathieu just retired from football. Jimmy Graham just retired from football officially. And so they go on and they go get Kellen Moore. They moved away from Dennis Allen. Storyline here is, of course, with the quarterbacks, right? What are the quarterbacks going to do? Who's actually going to be the guy by the end of the year? Their draft class, pretty solid. They get Calvin Banks Jr. with their first round pick, the best tackle in the class. Great improvement. Tyler Shough, a quarterback, I believe is a great improvement. One of the better safeties in the class, and Jonas Sanker from Virginia, great improvement. Danny Stutzman could have been chosen in the second or third round, and any other year they got a second or third round player in the fourth round. He's a great player. Quincy Riley, that Soares boy right there, balled out at the Senior Bowl, balled out at Louisville, playing with his Louisville teammate in Tyler Shough. Devin Neal, bro. How did Devin Neal drop this far from Kansas to the sixth round? Him and Alvin Kamara are about to do some dirty stuff for the next couple of years. Maliki Matavao from UCLA, the tight end. Great pickup now that Jimmy Graham is gone. And then Fidel Diggs, who I've got to see multiple times in person play. I've talked highly about him. A fifth round guy chosen in the seventh round. So when we're constantly saying, man, this guy could have gotten chosen earlier, you had a really good draft when you go through all your draft picks. Now, this team has Chris Olave and Chris Olave. I mean, I get it, right? I get it. There's other guys on this squad that are really, really good. But really and truly, the reason why I bring up Chris Olave is because of the injuries that he suffered and how good that Chris Olave can be for the New Orleans Saints when he is healthy. Look, he's another one of those proteges that have came out of Ohio State. Hopefully, Juwan Johnson, the tight end, obviously led in receiving for them last year as a tight end. Then Alvin Kamara was number 2. Then Foster Moreau was number 3. And then Alvin Kamara before the injury was number 4. We don't mention a tight end leading in receiving until we get to the fourth guy on their statistical sheet. Rashid Shaheed, hopefully he can step up to the plate. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a couple balls that he caught downfield. I mean, I know people are wondering if Bud Means can be the new, the next big guy coming out of Pittsburgh. I don't know, man. They have a ton of question marks now in their secondary. They have a ton of question marks all along that defensive line. They have a ton of question marks on how good their offensive line can be and what their wide receiver depth is. I think the only two positions that you can say they're going to be really good at, linebacker, maybe, but the ones that I'm strongly considering is not only their running back room, I think is super strong. Their tight end room, I think, is pretty strong, and their quarterback room. Everywhere else, I'm kind of like, what are we doing here? Are we really believers in Chase Young? I don't know. What's your outlook on the New Orleans Saints?
Every time I think about the Saints this offseason, I'm just like, how in the world did they start the season the way they did last year? They just came out and they were like the most, like, where did this come from? And then it eventually like mellowed out. They went down to where we expected them to be, but the defense was so bad last year. I mean, like you said, there's so many question marks, but when you don't have question marks at quarterback, running back, tight end, couple of offensive linemen you have there, that usually could set you up for some more success than people may think. I think those are some of the most important things. You have Calvin Banks. You said you love Calvin Banks. You know, that's a great pickup and a good left tackle. If you have a good left tackle, good quarterback, good running back, and a decent offense line, you can make a couple of things happen. You could play some spoilers sometimes. Rashid Shaheed, he is a nasty deep threat. I like him as a deep threat receiver. He is a fun. Brandon Cooks, nice little veteran, bringing him back. Bum Means, I love that name. That name is pretty cool, pretty fun.
Yep.
Donovan Peoples-Jones. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's a nice little depth piece there if he makes it. Cedric Wilson, he's a nice little fun piece too. But yeah, I mean, these quarterbacks have such a high ceiling. If whatever they capture, they don't have a horrible supporting cast. Like you said, Kamara, 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗂𝘀, Kendrick Miller. I know you liked him coming out of TCU, right?
Yep.
TCU, yeah. Yeah, they have good pieces on the offense, so maybe the offense can be all right, middle of the road. 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀𝘀, love him. Love 𝗕𝘂𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀.
Yeah, but he
didn't
didn't
have a good year last year.
Yeah, it was underwhelming for sure.
Yeah. But I think maybe coming into year 2, he can take a step up. And the defense side, it's just like they have some aging players over there. I mean, you have Demario Davis, Jordan. Damn, yeah. Oh, they signed Julian Blackmon. Okay, I did not notice they signed Julian Blackmon, but that dude's interesting. He's inconsistent. We'll see how he works out for them, but yeah, I mean, the defense is still probably going to be really rough. Defense is probably going to struggle, but I think the offense is definitely going to be their strong suit. Run the football, playing good old ground and pound football, and then these quarterbacks will be able to take advantage of that in a huge way. So it'll be all right. I think 6-11 is a really good projection for them.
Yeah, I'm surprised that all of us collectively as a unit came to a record like this for them. And maybe we're just all high on the fact that they're going to win a couple games. And I think this team is one of those ones, and I even had in my record prediction, like they're going to win some games that they probably shouldn't win. And it's going to be behind the arm of Tyler Shough. And people are really going to start to feel like, I hope the New Orleans Saints fans that when he got drafted, they look at his situation and they slap themselves in the face for not believing. That is the realization I hope they come to. You know what I'm saying? So we shall see what happens there.